What's going on, guys? So, as promised, like I said, if the Tigers made a move, I would make a video about it. I'm also going to recap the Phillies series as well. I know I said I was going to start doing this Tigers weekend review thing, but I'm going to kind of put that on the back burner for now. I'm going to do their series plus the preview of the upcoming series. So, the Tigers finally made a splash in the trade deadline market, and I knew they would because you were looking at the bullpen this year, and there was Smiley and Benoit was really about it. When it came to the back end of the bullpen. Basically, it was just a bridge to try to get the ball to those two guys because Smiley has been dominant as dominant gets this year. Benoit, ever since he's been handed the ball, really all year, he's been dominant, but he hasn't allowed a single earned run since he became the closer of the Tigers. He's just been dominant. He's 10 for 10 or 11 for 11, one of the two in save opportunities so far this year. And basically, the back end of the bullpen was set. It's fine. It's been good for a while now. But it's been the bridge relievers that we've had to worry about. Al Albuquerque comes out, and sometimes he's got that real good mid-90s fastball, and he's just striking everyone out because he's got two different kind of sliders. He's got a get-me-over slider that doesn't have as much break, and then he has another slider, which is his wipeout slider. And when he's spotting his fastball and throwing that get-me-over slider for strikes and then setting guys up for the nasty slider, he's just dominant. But then he gets in these spans where his fastball command becomes very inconsistent. His velo kind of drops a little bit. And then all of a sudden his slide, he can't, he's relying heavily on his slider and guys are sitting on it. And he gets hit up and he gives up a lot of walks. I mean, he just varies from inning from inning. I saw him come out for an inning and strike out 3. And then come out the next inning and just can't find a strike zone. He's very weird. Bruce Rendon isn't a guy you want to trust yet in very many high-leverage situations. I'm really high on Rendon. I love his stuff. I think his fastball command is starting to clean up a little bit since he joined the Tigers. He hasn't had as many shaky outings in his last 5-6 appearances as he had in his first 3. I think he's really been working on his slider. That looks really good. He's throwing it really effective. It's not just all first pitch fastballs. He's mixing that in. His changeup is looking pretty good too, even though it's a big work in progress. But it's still not an arm that you want to rely on heavily. And then Phil Koch, he just sucks even against left-handers. Evan Reed wasn't bad. But Conan has looked pretty decent this year. He has shown, he's got a really good fastball, really great curveball too. But they still needed one more arm that you could get dependable innings out of late in games with leads. So, the Tigers made a trade and acquired Jose Veras today. Jose Veras, if you guys do not know, was the closer of the Houston Astros. Veras this year was 0-4. And that's why relievers win-loss, really win-loss in general, is just extremely overrated. But, don't pay attention to that. But he's a 2.93 ERA. He has 44 strikeouts in 43 innings. His whip is a spotless 1. He's averaging 2.9 walks per 9. He's averaging 9.2 strikeouts per 9, and he's got 3.14 strikeout ratio. So his K ratio is good. His strikeout ratio is really good. His walks are at his lowest point in his career ever. And he's got a really good ERA. He's got 19 saves. And what I like about this move is that we got him for cheap. We only traded away Darny Vasquez and a player to be named later. And Vasquez is a guy that's not going to make too big of an impact anytime soon. He's still quite a few years away from the major league level. He's only 19. And, he was ranked number 4 in the Tigers farm system, which, Tigers farm system is garbage, so he's probably a lower ranked prospect and a better system. So you didn't have to overpay. You kept Castellanos. You kept Garcia, which is an obvious plus. On top of, you can keep Smiley and Benoit on their roles, but Veras is more than capable. If Benoit needs a night off, you can throw him out there in the 9th and he can get it done. If you need Drew Smiley to have a night off, you could throw Veras in the 8th inning, and he could get it done. He can be a perfect setup man. He can close for you, but he provides a perfect arm in the bridge innings to get the ball to Drew Smiley and Benoit. He's just going to be a great arm for the 7th inning in a one-run game. It's not like a typical game to where, oh man, Tigers starter goes 6, give up 1 run, and oh man, now we gotta hope, Peconin or Phil Koch or Ben or Rendon can hold the lead. Hopefully, have a clean inning. To give the ball to Smiley, to give the ball to Benoit. Now you got a 1-run lead. Chances are you're going to hold that lead. And Veras, like I said, provides a bunch of versatility. He can save for you. He can set up for you, and he's going to basically lock down the 7th-inning spot and give you one more dependable reliever in that bullpen. And on top of Octavio Dutel is actually now throwing off a mound in Lakeland, so he's getting closer. So once he comes back, that's just another arm to help bolster this bullpen. And then Rick Porcello, if we make it to the playoffs, there's a good chance he'll be in the bullpen as well, most likely, like he has been the last few years. And so your bullpen's looking really good for the rest of the year. And it was a nice move. And on top of Veras has only blown 3 saves this year. And, 21 opportunities. So that's not a bad ratio at all. So I really like the move. You didn't give up much, and you got an arm that is, like I said, versatile arm, and he can provide you some innings. He hasn't pitched too many innings this year, but he can provide you some solid innings of relief. And like I said, versatile arm, can close for you, can set up. I like this move a lot. It was a must-needed move, and I'm glad they did it. So now let's go into the Phillies series. And the Tigers, this was a weird series, man, at first. Game 1 I went to with Dougie Fresh, went up against Cole Hamels, and I actually got a ball. I bought a ball signed by Avisail Garcia, but where my seats were, we were right by the Tigers bullpen, and Drew Smiley was coming in, so I ended up getting Drew Smiley to autograph the ball as well, so there's Avisail and Drew Smiley's autograph on there. And this game was a great game. Doug Fister went 8 innings, didn't allow a single earned run, and he just pitched outstanding ball. Benoit comes out in the 9th, locks it down, even though Jimmy Rollins did get to 3rd. Tigers had a nice little rally to get 2 off of Hamels. Hamels pitched a gem of a game as well, but Fister just outdueled him, and it was a great game, and it set the tone for this series. And all of a sudden, that 2-1 game would never be even close again. Game 2, the Tigers hit up Valdez for 5 runs in the first inning. They had 10 runs by the 6th. This game was over after the first 4 batters. I mean, it was an absolute laugher of a game. They absolutely shit on them. Max Scherzer had a pitch count they could have probably had a complete game with, but Leland pulled him after 6 because there was no need for him. He was up by 10, give a couple other relievers work. Miggy had a home run in this game. His first AB back off the missing 4 straight games, had a homer. I mean, it was an absolute awesome game. And then Game 3, the Tigers were actually being shut out by Pettibone for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the Phillies started throwing the ball around again. I mean, that Phillies team, man, all I can remember is the Phillies teams like 08, 09, 2010, 2011. I mean, they played good defense. They had solid starting pitching. They were a complete team. This team, man, they were throwing the ball around the field. Their starters couldn't get it out. Their bullpen was bad. I mean, they were just atrocious. And the Tigers ended up scoring 8 runs in the 6th inning. And the game ended up going from they were a 3-0 deficit to a 12-4 win. I mean, the Tigers absolutely just shifted that game around in the course of 2 innings and absolutely just beat the living shit out of the Phillies in the last 2 days of this last 2 games of the series. And the Phillies didn't help themselves either. They played some atrocious defense. They got some really bad pitching. They had to go to Valdez instead of Cliff Lee on Game 2 of the series. I mean, it was just a bad series if you're a Phillies fan. And I think they've lost 8 straight games now, and they're well out of the race. And Papelbon is all bummed out about it. I mean, it was not a pretty game, but it was a great series if you're the Tigers, because the Tigers got a sweep, and they've been playing great. They've only lost 1 game in their last 8 games, and they've been playing some great baseball. They're 59-45 on the year. They're finally above that 10 game over 500 mark, quite a good bit of ways now, and they've been just playing great baseball. Their starting staff got shaky there a few weeks ago, but the Tigers really locked it back down. Sanchez is getting back into his groove. Scherzer's just been outstanding. Porcello didn't pitch that bad yesterday, and Doug Fister has 2 straight really good starts, and he's a second half pitcher. It's been the last couple of years with him. He's been a really good second half pitcher, so it's looking good. You got your bullpen piece, your starting staff's come around. You take 3 games from the Phillies, you sweep them. You got a good little lead in your division. I think they're up by 3 games right now. I mean, it's all good right now for the Tigers, and it's looking good. So, previewing the next series, The Washington Nationals coming to town for a short series, 2-game set. Anibal Sanchez will be going up against Steven Strasburg. And I absolutely love Steven Strasburg. He's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. I got his autograph. I remember watching his very first start against the Pirates when he struck out 14. I have always really liked Steven Strasburg, and I'm really looking forward to watching him pitch against the Tigers. And game 2, Justin Verlander goes up against Gio Gonzalez, who's been very good this year, to end the quick 2-game set before the White Sox come into town for 3 games. So that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, any more Tiger stuff happens tomorrow, because tomorrow is the 30th, and the 31st is Wednesday, which is the last day of the trade deadline. Any more stuff happens, I'll be here with another video. So like I said, love the move. Good arm to grab. Very cheap. I like it. And go Tigers.